in the end, you have to ask those questions. Yeah, it would be great to win, but there's always something. There's always a catch. There's always something that's too good to be true.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt, that is Shawn, and welcome to our show, Shawn. Wednesday, September 3rd. Shawn, do you know what the Powerball number is up to?
So my brother-in-law was like, "Hey, did you buy a ticket?" I'm like, "For what?" And he's like, "Oh, the Powerball." And I'm like, "No, what's it up to?" He said something like 1.4 billion or something like that.
That's about right.
1.4 billion. When does it draw?
Wednesday, today.
Okay.
Tonight.
I woke up this morning. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play that. I'm going to go play it and just see what happens. Right?
Yeah.
You don't play, you don't win.
So my question is, at what threshold do you buy a ticket? Because if it's like, a measly 500 million, you're like, yeah, maybe not. But once it hits $1 billion, then is that your threshold, or is it when your brother-in-law calls? I
usually don't even do it, but like, it just depends. If I feel like it, I'll do it. And I was in the store the other day, and I'm like, what? It was down in Ocean City area, and I'm like, why are all these people in line? I'm like, these degenerate gamblers, right? And I'm like, they were in line for this machine. And I was like, well, I don't understand, but maybe it was for that.
Well, you got to buy your ticket at some rinky-dink gas station.
Yeah.
Like, you can't go to McLean, Virginia and buy a Powerball ticket, right? You've never heard of a lottery winner in McLean, Virginia or Potomac, Maryland winning the lottery. So, Shawn, that's going to be the topic of today's podcast, is the lottery and raffles. And imagine turning $10 into a Texas resort, or maybe turning $10 into $300,000 cash. Today, we're unpacking the strange new trend of real estate raffles, starting with a hill country yurt resort that could be all yours for just $10. Let me paint the picture. So the story is, a couple in Dripping Springs, Texas, outside of Austin, owns a 46-acre resort with 10 luxury yurts, a lodge, barns, even a spa tent. And they want to move on to the property. They want to sell it. Instead of listing it on the MLS, they've decided to raffle it off. And the platform they're using is a platform called Raffle, a UK-based company that hosts these kinds of, air quotes, competitions. Okay, competitions. And here's how it works. Tickets are $10 each. The goal is to sell a certain number of tickets. If that target is hit, the winner is drawn and gets to choose between, in this case, the property itself or a $2 million cash payout if you don't want to run a 10, luxury yurt, resort. And if the target isn't hit, which is honestly the most common scenario, the winner doesn't get the property. Instead, they get a cash prize equal of 50% of all the ticket sales. So if the raffle pulled in $700,000, the winner would walk away with about $350,000. Meanwhile, the sellers keep the rest, minus Raffle's 10% cut. So, Shawn, when you hear someone selling real estate through a raffling system, what are your initial thoughts?
When I first heard this, I was like, wow, what a great idea.
Really? You didn't think like, wow, what a scam?
Now I do. But like when I first thought of it, I was like, wow, what a great idea. This is going to be amazing. Like, what a cool concept. You could win a whole house or whatever for $10 or, however many entries you want to put in. So, I think it's a flat, but in the end, I think it's a flash in the pan. And my thoughts while I was in the shower this morning, I'm thinking, all right, what could go wrong? Oh, so many things could go wrong.
Shawn, shower thoughts.
Yeah, my shower. That's where I think the best, right? So I'm like, so many things could go wrong. And, where do I even start with this? Where do I even start? So number one, I would say, all right, so you enter a raffle and you say, oh my gosh, I just won a $7 million resort. And you live in Ohio and you make $30,000 a year. All right, you know nothing about the resort. You know nothing about renting this place out. And now you've won it and you've chosen to take the resort. And what are you going to do? I'm going to be an Instagram influencer. I'm going to sit there and, do whatever on my resort. But did you realize that you have probably between $50,000 and $70,000 of taxes to pay? Just in taxes every year on property taxes. If the property is worth $7 million and, they have normal property taxes out there. So then you have to maintain the property, and the property is humongous. And do you have the capital to do that? And so now it falls into disrepair. So what happens? This gung-ho person in Ohio just won a $7 million resort. Is it really worth $7 million? It's probably worth more like $4 million, but they're going to inflate the cost at the beginning, right? And they're going to say it's worth that. But then that person isn't going to be able to pay the taxes. And what's going to happen? It's going to go into foreclosure. And then it's going to go into a foreclosure sale. So that's how I see this thing progressing out. Number one, either that route or another route that we'll talk more about in a little bit.
So the irony is not lost on me when they say, hey, you win the lottery, what's the one thing that you don't do? It's to buy a house outside of your means. Like, this is so ironic that you win the lottery and then you're awarded a house outside your means. So it's marketed as a $7 million Texas ranch or $7 million sweepstakes sort of deal. I don't quite know where they're getting the $7 million from. I get it. There's a $2 million cash payout that you can choose from. Apparently, the property was also listed for sale on the MLS before for $5.5 million and then later dropped to $4.75 million, but no buyer bid.
There you go. Yeah. They're selling it. They're raffling it for $7 million, but the actual value is probably like $4 million. Exactly what I was saying, and I didn't know this stuff.
Now, the owners claim that it is a profitable business, and there is a leaseback period for a year. So I hear what you're saying about, hey, someone in Ohio is just going to buy this thing or win it, for $1. But there's a lease back for a year. So maybe in that year time period, you learn how everything works, learn how the operations work, and you can continue to turn a profit on something like this.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to learn. And hey, if in the other instance, it could go to somebody that really wants it, and it could turn out really good. But I don't know. I always think that there's something else in this for other people, and that's probably what is going on here.
Yeah. So the property taxes, annually would be in excess of, I don't know what you said, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. They'd be a lot. That's not to mention like the closing costs, because the way that this would work out is if you were to win the property, you would sign a performative contract for $1. Okay, what's the county gonna say when you try to buy a property for $1? They're gonna say no. Let's appraise this bad boy, see what it's actually worth, and then you're gonna be taxed on the transfer taxes of the actual appraised value. And you're not going to be able to get a title insurance policy for a property that's worth $1. It's going to be, I think they said in the listing that the title insurance is going to be equal to like a $6.5 million property, which is another like 20 or 30 grand just off the top. So your closing costs alone, just to buy this darn thing are creeping towards $80,000, $90,000 just for your, free yurt, resort.
Yeah, because, what happens is at closing, they are going to, the local jurisdiction is going to tax you based on the value of the home. And what they do in Arlington is they say the sales price or the tax value, the tax assessed value, whichever is higher. So your tax assessed value is $5 million. You're paying a boatload of taxes right up front. And you have to come up with that to close the deal. So this is what they're not telling you. Oh, we'll sell it to you for $1. But do you know what it costs to actually go to closing for this? And so there's a lot of loopholes. And, if you don't close, then what happens, right? Property just goes right back to these owners that have been trying to sell it. They've already raffled it off twice. Didn't go. Who made the money on that? That's where I want to talk. That's
I think you can only raffle it off so many times before people kind of get sick of it.
Yeah.
And you put it out on the internet. This thing has gone viral, right? Everyone's talking about this. What's the first thing? You put something on the internet. What do people think? They think it's fake, right? They think it's a scam. They think someone's going to take your money. So you know what I did? I bought some tickets.
Did you? I was thinking
I bought some tickets, Shawn. So I bought 6 tickets.
Okay.
I had to change the currency amount from GBP, from Great Britain, British pounds, from pounds to dollars. And I think I spent like $30.75 for 6 tickets. Okay. So I am officially in the running. Now, digging into the fine print, the goal is to sell, are you ready for this? 848,000 tickets. That's roughly $8.5 million. If they do not hit 848,000 tickets, then the property is not going to be changing hands. It's just going to go to that cash option, which is what we talked about. But if it does, I mean, think about the windfall by the way, you're not able to see how many tickets have been purchased unless you're the one that purchases the tickets. So I know how many people have bought tickets. So right now they need 848,000, and the sweepstakes ends in 27 days on September 30th. Okay, guess how many tickets they have sold so far? They need 850K.
I'd say 200,000.
70,000.
70,000 tickets.
So like almost 10%, and they have 27 days left.
Yep.
So unless something miraculous happens, this house ain't going nowhere. And I just entered a quasi lottery, which we need to get into as well, for the chance to win half of, chance to win basically $300,000.
Yeah. So again, right down to it, this is money making for businesses and people. Number one, Raffle, the I think that's how you pronounce it. Raffle.
No one knows how to say it.
Raffle.
It's like the 50-50.
It's probably like Raffle.
Dude, your accents are amazing. But it's like a 50-50. If you go to the Caps game, you got the people walking around. The digits are like 12 digits long. It's like there's no way you're going to win.
Yeah.
But it's the thrill.
It's
right?
the thrill, yeah.
I like lighting money on fire for like 7 seconds of thinking that I'm going to own a yurt camp.
Sure. I agree. I love the idea of it, and I would definitely buy tickets for it too. And I'm going to buy raffle tickets for today's drawing for Powerball. But, look at where it's always follow the money. Always follow the money to see what the reality is. And that's true about anything. It's, so first off, tickets are not $10. They're $10.15 on the thing. All right. So you think but what's the 15 cents going to? All right. 15 cents times 848,000. Do you know how much money that is? It's 127 grand. $127,000 is going to Raffle. Okay. Probably. All right. So there's the money. All right. That's where they're service charging you. And maybe there's a more service charge. Then secondly, okay, you can choose between $2 million if they sell enough tickets, right? You can choose between $2 million or a $7 million resort, right? A lot of people would just say, I'll take the $2 million. They don't care. I'll take $2 million, right? Well, where does all the other money go? Where does the money go? It goes right to the owners and somebody splits it and blah, blah, blah. Dude, this is a money-making scheme. It's all it is. And in the end, you have to ask those questions. Yeah, it would be great to win, but there's always a catch. There's always something that's too good to be true. It's just like the raffle that we're, Powerball. You know what's crazy? The government takes most of the money every single raffle.
The government wins again.
Yeah, and then I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, what if I won? Say I got a cash payout of $400 million, and then I wanted to give Matt some money. Guess what Matt's going to do? He's going to get taxed on the money that I've already been taxed on when I give it to him. It's insane. So, the government's making the money, Raffle's making the money, and a lot of third parties. And there's another LLC that is actually helping raffle this out. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of money that's being made in these transactions. And that's what you've got to be wary of. That's my main point.
My first thought was this is totally illegal. They're running an illicit lottery, unregistered lottery scheme. Mm-hmm. And so I looked into it. And not lawyer advice. Do your own research. This is not advice in any way or any sort of lawyer situation happening. So here's the deal. It's a sweepstakes, not a raffle. Okay. So to get around it not calling it a lottery or raffle, there are 3 things that need to happen. There needs to be a prize, so property or cash. There needs to be chance, so a random drawing. And there needs to be no considerations. Entrants must be able to enter for free. But then you're saying, oh, wait, I thought you had to pay for a ticket. That's true. However, there are ways, if you read the fine print, that you can get a ticket for free. Things like sharing the link on social media and someone else buying a ticket, sharing it to your followers, sharing it on Facebook, emailing it to someone else and they buy a ticket. So there are ways that you can enter this competition with the air quotes, no purchase necessary to get around the raffle laws for Texas specifically. So it is categorized as a sweepstakes and not a raffle.
That's amazing. And I did see that there was, you could get free tickets, and I was wondering how you do that. So thanks for clarifying. And the other thing is you're getting free tickets whenever you purchase, right? So you bought 6 tickets, but they gave you a couple free tickets. Is that right?
I got a bonus. Yeah.
You got a bonus. Yeah. So I wonder if that's free tickets right there.
Yeah. And it has to be 848,000 paid
tickets.
Purchase
That's
tickets.
the thing is, so now think about this. So Matt bought 6 tickets. They gave him how many free tickets? Do you know?
I think I got like 6 more. Or
6 more. So double it.
Like
so
that. Yeah.
So your chances just went way down, right? You're going to buy 6. They're going to give you 6 more. So really, the chances of winning. Do they tell you the chances of winning?
They
so
have to.
Not
they have to tell you the chances
thousand.
Of winning.
Yeah. So the chances of winning are probably double that. 1 in 2 million or something like that is your chance. Anyways, your chances of winning this place are very slim. when you win it, you have the option to taking $2 million or taking a $7 million place that you don't know how to manage. And I think in the end, most people are just going to take the $2 million and run. They're going to walk after the government takes half of it with $1 million. And, the seller is going to continually make money off of this raffle until it actually sells. Now what they can do is, all right, well, the raffle didn't work. We just made X amount of dollars. Now we can sell this property on with a real estate agent at $350 million or $3.5 million.
So we haven't really seen this much in the United States. It makes me wonder, what is the perfect property for a sweepstakes like this? Because obviously, whether it's a $7 million ranch or a $4 million ranch, selling almost 848,000 tickets is going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
And we're seeing others pop up. Like there's a $1.3 million luxury home in North Phoenix that you have a chance to win. And my wife, who's from Phoenix, asked if there's water included in the house because Phoenix is running out of water. It's a good question. Yeah. There's also, I believe, a $15 million ranch in California that can be won. And so all of this is on the heels of one property in Ireland, Shawn. Okay, this might have been like the perfect property to catapult this type of possibility into the United States. So a woman raffled her $335,000 home in Ireland just recently. She sold about 150,000 tickets, so way fewer than the 800,000 that the Texas ranch wants. Grossed about $1.5 million. Her, she ballparked her house at $300,000-$400,000. So this isn't this crazy resort. I think it was like a 2-bed, 1-bath cottage. She did spend about $30,000 on marketing, including getting coverage in the New York Times. Through maybe it was like a PR firm or getting some reach there. And she hoped to net about $450,000 in value of her home. But she ended up getting a lot more, and it was some random Ohio woman who spent like $13 on tickets, and she said, like anyone, she paid Raffle the money and then completely forgot about it. And then a couple months later, her friend texted you and said, hey, by chance, did you win a cottage in Ireland? And so apparently she has Irish dual citizenship, so definitely not sketchy there how someone with Irish dual citizenship wins the Ireland cottage. But it's getting me thinking, like, you're not going to put a Clarendon condo up on Raffle and expect to make $1 million. But Shawn, if you were to think about what type of property would be ideal to raffle off to get some PR and that you could actually make some money on.
Well, it's always going to be these $7 million properties, right? It's just like this.
But it's not gonna reach the threshold.
Yeah, you're right.
So it has to be like a sweet
lower,
spot.
It's got to be a lower cost thing because I was thinking of this as like selling tickets is really difficult. And this $7 million property has only sold 70,000 tickets, and they have so much publicity right now. It's all over the place. There's so many outlets. It's on mainstream. It's on social media. And they still only sold 70,000. So to sell 850,000, it's going to be nearly impossible. And so what's going to happen? It's never going to reach it, and they're going to split the profits, and the winner's going to take a little bit and go on to the next one. When you set your goal so high to try to sell that many, it's always going to be difficult. And so just know what you're getting into, I guess. I mean, it's only $10. It's only, $60 that you spend on yours.
Yeah. So Raffle says that so far 18 homes have sold successfully. About 50 raffles have failed to reach their targets. And the gross sales, this is a big one, for successful raffles are between $530,000 and the $1.28 million range. So these astronomical pie-in-the-sky prices probably won't end up. I think it's just good publicity, right? The Realtor.com articles, the New York Times articles. In reality, it doesn't seem like this is the way that a property is going to transfer when it's, $7 million or a $10 million property.
Yeah, and I think everybody's hopes is like, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm just going to raffle my property off, and I can make more money than it's worth, and then, just let the property go, and it'll sell, and I just put a deadline, and it's like, no, it's not going to be that easy. I think there's going to be a trend, too. People are going to start doing this a little bit more, and then they're going to realize, all right, this is not what it's set up to be.
You need a viral house.
You need a viral house. That's it. And how hard is it to go viral? It's hard. to sell that many tickets. And then not only to go viral, but to actually get the interest to people to say, it's just like if you get a viral video and how many people are actually going to follow you from that viral video? Not many, right? And so like to get that viral post and say, how many are actually going to buy something from that post? A lot harder than you think. And so, be wary of this kind of stuff. Somebody's making money.
How many people have bought from your 1 million viral post viewer video?
I've gotten like 8,000 followers. From, from like a 1 point, but it's got 1.7 million views.
1.7. Oh, my apologies. 1.7.
Well, I mean, like
selling you short here.
Yeah, it's gone crazy. But anyways, like it's hard. It's hard to get that attraction, and so don't think that you're going to be able to do this that quickly and that easily. And it's one in a however many did it on this site, but not many are trying it. And in the end, that one person made out, but now it's going to be harder and harder to do. So it's just like, when you go to the fair and there's that car sitting there for a raffle, it's the same stupid thing. And did you ever get a call back? No, my brother is like the worst at this, right? Mm-hmm. Every single time he sees a car, I'm going to win that. I'm going to win that. And he buys a ticket every single time. And I'm like, dude, stop it.
He likes lighting money on fire.
He loves like, I'm gonna, yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
It's fun to think about.
It is, and it gives you that little bit of hope in when you're having a bad day. You're like, you know what? I might win that house. It would be really cool. I might win that lottery.
Yeah, it's not lost on me that the person who was most successful, the young lady who raffled her Ireland home, spent $30,000 in marketing. We kind of just glazed over that one.
Yep.
But it's not something where you just put it on Raffle and it takes off. You really gotta get this out in front of lots of publications.
Yeah, so it's a risk. That's the other thing. You're spending all this money. Are you going to be able to sell a ticket? What if you're not able to, and you just spent $30,000 when you could have sold it on the open market and not had to spend anything until settlement when you pay your realtors. And then so there's a lot of risks in this that people probably won't understand until they're in it and too late. So just be careful.
I meant to use this line earlier, but to me, this is essentially like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
With
all
100%.
These, it's a Texas-based LLC, and then we're partnering with the UK company, and it's actually a sweepstakes, not a raffle. I don't know if I want to be the pioneer, right? The leader, who gets all the arrows in the back of being the first person in the United States to sell a property like this. This is a little too much risk. Hey, I'll light my $30 on fire and pretend that I have a chance to win, $300,000. But yeah, there's no chance I would ever go through on the purchasing side of this.
Yeah, because if you look at the details of it, if you read the details, once you go under contract or once you win the raffle, then you have X amount of days to sign a contract. You're signing a contract to purchase a property. You're signing that contract to purchase it for $1. Okay, but then you have to go through your inspections. So you have your contingencies in the contract. You can do a home inspection, blah, blah, blah. But what happens if you decide, hey, this isn't for me, I want to pull out? Then I think you might be able to have the option to go back and take the $2 million.
Hey,
But then there's a stipulation. If you don't settle within that time frame, then there's other stipulations. And then there was also a thing that said, if the state doesn't allow you to purchase it based on a dollar figure, you can't purchase it.
You're out.
So this is just, again, it's somebody trying to be viral and trying to take advantage and make money off of something that's really not that great.
Well, I'm sure I'll forget about the tickets that I bought by tomorrow morning. But if for some reason September 30th, October 1st, you don't hear from me, it's because maybe I'm moving to Texas in my yurts.
Yeah, I hope so, man. And the other thing is they set a deadline of it's only 60 days of selling tickets. 60 days of selling tickets is a very small amount of time. Like there was a Jeep for raffle right in my community for a year. Like a year. All they had to do was sell 2,500 tickets. It sat there for a year before anything happened. And it's just so to sell that amount of tickets is really difficult, especially in that time of frame. I just think there's another hook, and that's the problem with it. But Matt, I hope you do win. I hope I can stay in one of your yurts.
I mean, I've never been to Austin, so I've heard Austin, Texas is actually like a really cool place. Some people hype it up, others say it's overrated. I've never been. Would love to go sometime.
Yeah, I've never been either. Definitely got to get out there.
All right, well, maybe we'll go out to a yurt sometime. I would love to spend a weekend there. I would not want to spend my entire life in Texas.
Yeah, and
so there's that.
Taking care of a property that you've never seen and have no idea how to do it.
Yeah, I don't know if I could get emotionally invested in another rental property.
Yep.
All right, well, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would you enter this raffle, this for fall. I should really put an affiliate link. I'm not a big affiliate link kind of guy. I just think anytime there's an affiliate link, it's like a scam. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. For Shawn and myself, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Take care.